We're back on a conversation. Teachers' education is generally conceptualized as an educational program designed to equip prospective teachers with the knowledge, attitudes, behaviors, and skill they require to perform their task effectively in the classroom, school, and wider society. The concept teacher education can be understood to mean many professional program that is related to the development of teacher proficiency and competence that would enable and empower the teacher to meet the requirements of the profession and face the challenges therein. Since it is a preparatory program designed to equip the would-be teachers with knowledge, skills, and attitudes before assuming the role of professional teachers, the question then is, how effective is the process in Nigeria compared to the internationally accepted academic standard, especially in terms of the type of training teachers themselves give out to potential students? And to have this conversation on teachers training and the training teacher give is our guest standing by on Zoom, Martins Okay, who is an educationist and public affairs analyst. Good evening, Mr. Martins.
Thank you.
Let's just dive right into the conversation. Our topic is teachers training and the training teachers give. Mr. Martins, how would you assess the training that teachers get and how well they train these students in school?
How would I, sorry?
Assess the training that the teachers receive and the training that they also impact into the students.
All right. First of all, I should say that it depends on the area. It depends on the part of the world. If the training is here in Nigeria, of course, which should be our focal point, and Southeast especially, I should say that it is not enough. The reason is that teacher training has to be done during the process of education. That is, the person should, after graduating from secondary school, the person should enroll in a teacher training college or in a college of education or in the university, especially in the faculty of education or through NTI or enrolling in another program elsewhere that can certify the person online. I should say that the training is not enough. The reason is that sometimes they certify a person to become an education expert within a year, especially those who are taking it online. I think that is not enough.
So are you
because we don't even have enough facilities.
1 year is not enough?
Pardon?
Are you saying, you said that they just give the certification to someone that has a training within a year or in a year? Are you saying that 1 year is not enough time to acquire the skills that you need as a teacher?
Yes. I'm trying to say at length so you can listen up. It's not just for the ones they do online. We still have the ones they do in teacher training colleges or institutions. And I'm saying that all of those things are not equipment that is not there, and lack of commitment on the part of government. While I'm saying that, I should also say that some teachers are being graduated half-baked. The reason is that people who are trained, normally it starts from the beginning, from the scratch. The people that go into education are people who have tried admission into other sectors, and then probably they were disappointed, and they now flood them into the education faculty. And when the recruitment is like that, they still get poor people to teach, and those who are to teach are not well motivated by government. In the end of it all, they will not be able to impact enough, in the children. And that is why we have quagmire in the society. It's already wrong from the beginning.
Okay, so what exactly are the main objectives of teacher training programs?
Thank you. The teacher training program main objective is to churn out a teacher that has gone through proper education training to handle children using philosophy of education. The teacher who is knowledgeable about the culture of the society. The teacher who knows all it takes in the areas of what a child needs in line with the global best practices at the time. The teacher goal, a teacher education goal, is to train a teacher that is able to know the needs of the society. And that need of the society will be translated into the child by way of inculcation. And it now translates into enculturation and acculturation. Maybe let me just say into, socializing the children on the culture of the people. That is the way we do things. And acculturation by bringing in foreign cultures, whereby maybe a teacher will tell you what is happening in the US, what is happening in Europe, what is happening in other parts of the world. So the child will now get all this. So a teacher training is meant to make a teacher to be holistic in the training, to be able to handle any situation, to be a problem solver, to acquire enough skills and ideas to handle children enough and meet the needs of the children.
Okay, I understand that there are two different training programs. We have the pre-training program and the in-service training program. How does it differ from each other?
All right, beautiful. Of course, in the process, I already handled the first one. The pre-training program is that if you like to become a teacher, you get trained in an education institution. Education institution, like I told you earlier, has to do with either Teachers Training College, TTC, College of Education, Government Technical College, if it is education inclined. Then we talk of university, that is BED, Bachelor of Education. Faculty of Education gives a certificate for that. And the person will now train up until masters, where the person will get MED. MED, and the person will train up until the person gets PhD in education. That one is called pre-education training, and it depends on the level you want to teach. If you want to teach in the university, PhD is necessary. In secondary school, degree is necessary, first degree, and in the lower basic education, I'm talking of upper primary, junior, and junior school, and of course the primary school junior, then you can end up in College of Education. So all of those trainings are called pre-education training. But then when you're already into the service proper, that is what we call professional educational training. A teacher can go for symposium, a teacher can go for workshop, a teacher can go overseas to have the idea of how other teachers teach. A teacher can be trained to handle certain tasks, maybe the use of the newest technologies in education. A teacher can be called for review of a curriculum. A teacher can be called to be part of other decision making so as to enhance or improve on the curriculum. That is the one we call in-service training.
Okay, so since you have highlighted all this, what are those basic skills that you would see in a teacher and you would say this is a properly trained teacher? What are those necessary skills that should be looked out for to identify a good teacher?
Thank you. A good teacher in the first place should be somebody who has at the tips of his or her fingers the needs of the society. How do I mean? Nigeria at the moment needs to develop technology-wise. The teacher should be computer-friendly. The teacher should also be somebody who has a way of solving problems, especially security matters. Then we talk of philosophy of education. When it comes to that, the teacher should be equipped with where we are going. Every nation has a focus. Every nation has a goal where they are going. And for Nigeria, it is enshrined in the philosophy of education, which was churned out in the 80s. Now, this philosophy, and it was reviewed as far back as 2014. That was the last review. And every teacher should know that. Then a teacher who is well-trained should be empathic. That teacher should be able to feel, to imagine the pains or the needs of a child so that he will be able to address that child, or she will be able to address the needs of that child at that material time. Then a teacher should be able to give children personalized training. You see a child, and this child needs attention. You approach the child. You have known how that child behaves, because everybody has individual differences. The way you behave, the way you react to issues is quite different from the way I do. Even among your siblings, you are unique. So a teacher should be able to know each child according to each person's personality. That is required of a good teacher. Then, above all, a good teacher should be the master of that subject area. I'm talking about content mastery here. You should be resourceful enough to know what is needed in that area, and you should be able to handle it perfectly. By that I mean, a good teacher shouldn't be one that should now get confused along the line. The teacher should read and be well informed ahead of the learners. And that is why he is a teacher. He is to teach. He is a guide. He is a counselor. He is somebody that shows the way. That is why it is impacting knowledge. You are enlightening the other one that is less knowledgeable, in order that that child or the student should now develop her potentials. So a good teacher should be resourceful enough. That's what I mean. And a good teacher also should be somebody that can apply different strategies or methodologies in the course of impacting knowledge. It could be questioning method from the beginning. A teacher can adopt a role play, and in the process of that, engage those children to be part of it. Not a teacher that will be churning out like a lecture method. At the end of it, you ask the children, do you understand? No. There is this aphorism that when you say something, the child will understand only 10%. When you demonstrate it, the child will understand 50%. When you allow the child to be part of it, the child will understand 90%. Therefore, it is advisable that the teacher should engage the child to be active, to participate actively in the whole process of the teaching. And at the end of it all, you assess them. So a good teacher is one who engages the children actively in the process of learning. And at the end of it, you test them. You also test them in the process. It using the first method, and some may understand it using the second method, and some could understand it using the third method. So a teacher shouldn't be straitjacketed in the process of impacting knowledge. Do you understand? And in the whole of it, watch the attention span of the children. Add humor to your teaching. Make it dramatic. Make it fun. Make it concrete. By being fun, it should be interesting. By being dramatic, the children should be able to watch it and see the action involved. And you should be passionate about it. And they will be carried away by that. And they will enjoy your teaching. These are some of the things I am expecting of a teacher. And that teacher who does all of this is a motivated teacher.
Okay, Martin. Is there like a peak of at the point where you get to and you feel like there's no more training to get as a trained teacher already? I mean, you had mentioned the different levels of education that a teacher needs to acquire, and having PhD at the peak of it, at the top. So are there like do you get to a point whereby you would give this teacher a certification and say, oh, you don't need any other training, or it is a continuous professional development?
Oh, beautiful. When I was writing my PhD exam, that's something they said. The professor said that curriculum is a dirty assignment, and we should discuss for or against the proposition. That curriculum is a dirty assignment. I'm coming to what you said. Then what does that mean? It's a continuous process. And because the society changes, the needs also change in line with the needs of the day. Let me tell you, the internet we are enjoying today was not fashionable in the 90s or in the late 80s. And today, most of the things we do, we stream live. We go live on the internet. So now, because of this, things are changing. So there's no point you can reach and stop training. If you stop training, that means the person cannot develop. You have to be updated. You have to get the newest skills, newest ideas in line with the global best practices. That is why a teacher should be current with the societal trends.
Okay, just at the beginning of this conversation, you had mentioned that people go as far as traveling overseas to study how the training is done over there, how they teach in the classrooms, and how they relate to students. So How can the teachers training be improved to, match up with the 21st century um, situation that we have?
Beautiful. By this, I think you're asking me to provide solutions or suggest what we can do. A
Yes,
lot of things
exactly.
could be done, my dear.
What?
Number one, let government get committed to the affairs of education, because education is the bedrock of any nation. For us to have good medical doctors, good agricultural sector, good economy, good legal system, good electoral system, there must be strong educational sector. And to do this, government should, budget, enough money for the educational development of teachers and students. They should be able to provide the needed facilities. I'm carrying out a project, a research now, the use of strategies for teaching prose fiction in Ebonyi State. And when I went to rural schools, I discovered that many of them don't even know. Then they say the place of emerging technologies. Many of them don't even know what is called artificial intelligence, let alone e-books and other things. So now the teacher should be able to provide, number one, electricity before we talk of computers. So providing facilities or learning facilities is one of the ways government could do that. Then ensuring that they get recruited qualified teachers is another thing. Okay, come to your state, Enugu there. You see that the governor is doing well by providing what he called the green smart schools. But one in each ward. I think they have about 260 wards. Now, if they are providing that, what about other schools in the whole world, apart from that green smart school? And assuming that they are going to come, all the children in that ward, that school will be overcrowded and the teacher cannot communicate well. What it means is that government should be able to, bring out more money and ensure that they monitor it. Because sometimes they could earmark much money for the development of educational sector, but because there is lack of supervision, that money will go the wrong way and nobody will say anything about it. So if we want to get this government and the economy, this country developed, they should be able to employ qualified teachers. They should be able to pay them well because they buy the same thing from the same market that medical doctors, manufacturers, entrepreneurs, lawyers are buying things from. If they understand that, let me tell you a ridiculous amount that was paid to teachers in Ebonyi in the last administration. Some were earning 27,000 naira, and these are degree holders, and these are people with families. Is that not ridiculous? So government should now ensure that they equate the salary structure of teachers with those in other sectors like Ministry of Justice or Ministry of Health. And you see teachers being motivated because a hungry man is an angry man. I've talked of facilities. I've talked of supervision. I've talked of motivating them through salary increment. Then that would be enough. If we're doing that, we should also be able to ensure that teachers go for training from time to time. Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Beautiful. So while they are doing that, we can't get obsolete teaching materials to teach the students of 21st century. Imagine somebody using an analog typewriter to teach you how to type when computer has overtaken the stage. Imagine when somebody is now still talking of using a Nokia touch to teach you how to press phone when you have iPhone Pro 14 or so. So we should be in line with the current needs. And that is what is required. And to do this, we monitor, we account for what we do. Education is the mother of all economy, and is the mother of all nation, and is the mother of civilization. So we need to care for it. And with that, there will be a better tomorrow. The tomorrow that we are expecting is here if we are committed to it. And it should come from government, because government can employ, government can supervise, government can provide skills. And any teacher that you have motivated and he fails to do that, you sack that teacher. It is not enough, okay, that we cannot sack teacher because the person is a civil servant. Don't forget that in the recruitment process of people who will become teachers tomorrow, let them raise the cutoff mark for teachers. Let it be like 300. So that if you are going in there, you know you are knowledgeable, then they bring down the school fees and pay teachers highly. You see that people who would want to become medical doctors will not be attracted to go into education. But in the society, if you want to get married, you even hide who you are. You tell the child that I'm a media person or I'm a politician. If you tell the person I'm a teacher, people will run away from you.
Okay, Martins.
It's as bad as that.
Okay, with all this being said, we have highlighted how teachers should, be the best and bring out the best they can from every child. Now let's look at the challenges that teachers do face when delivering training or instructions in the classroom.
Okay. Number one, a teacher who is not well equipped is like somebody going to war without weapons. A teacher who is not well equipped is like somebody going to farm without a hoe and a cutlass. If you don't have the knowledge, that's what they say, you can't build on nothing. It is that knowledge that is your block, the molding block, so you can use it now to erect a building. Therefore, a teacher, first of all, will be challenged by students of the 21st century if you don't know what you're doing. Another challenge is that because of the poor funding of teachers, some teachers even manage to eat first square meal. I was told by my professor, the supervisor, the person who supervised me, he said that those days when he was in Enugu, that they told him that the yam, a tuber of yam will be measured so that he can eat it according to the number of days he mentioned it. And he went to the market to price the yam. They said, excuse me, excuse me, sir, are you a teacher? He laughed. And that was why he read how to become a professor. What am I trying to say? That the student, a teacher who doesn't dress well because of poverty cannot have self-confidence. So it is another challenge. Imagine if other teachers are coming, the parents are taking their children to the school in their cars, and the teacher is breaking down. How do you think the image of that teacher will be? That teacher, from the start, is already having low self-esteem. Because the teacher can be addressed by the children anyhow, and he can't challenge them. Even if he says anything, it will be a problem. That is the second one. The third one is that this is common to private schools. If you flog a teacher, if you discipline a child for doing something, even talking to a child, you select word, you say, please. That is the most annoying thing. I'm not saying that children should be flogged, but at least you should be authoritative as a teacher. You should be assertive. While you're empathic, I already mentioned. But there is, to an extent, if a child does something wrong, you should be able to use your manly voice or to use your authority by commanding the child kneel down or do assignment. But if you load it over the teacher, you see that child will always know that the teacher is just a slave to them. And that is why the Bible says in the book of Proverbs that discipline a child with a rod, that child will now become wise. A child that is not trained or disciplined, even Proverbs chapter 12 verse 1, it says that child is stupid because they will reject correction. So it is necessary, it's another challenge teachers face in the classroom or in the school, because you are afraid of what will come out of it. Sometimes you try to overlook things. Then children won't even do assignments because they know at the end of it all, those teachers are toothless bulldogs. Okay. This issue of cultism that is in place. Okay, I just mentioned three. Should I stop there?
Go ahead.
All right. So it doesn't end there. You see, another problem that teachers have is that once you are there, you are thinking of another thing. You are thinking of how to make ends meet, because no clinic, no provision for teachers at the end of it all. That is why an average teacher in the village is a farmer. An average teacher in the urban area is a business person. If not, hunger will position you and classify you where you belong. So I am saying this because it is a challenge. So the current needs of the society requires that the teacher will do more. But they don't even have equipment. Go to libraries, you still see that the books they are using now is the old book. Then look at the curriculum. The curriculum, the National Educational Research and Development Council, which is in charge of reviewing the curriculum, mandates that the curriculum should be reviewed every 5 years. But the one we are using in the country was reviewed last in 2014. So if the teacher is imparting the knowledge of what happened yesterday or yesteryears, and imagine a child who just came from the US or from the UK, and that child has already learnt robotics and all of that, and you are telling the person that this is how to press computer or computer appreciation at most, and that child will look at you as if this man coming from the bush, like these people that kill meat, has a tribe in South Africa. You need to be updated. And how do you do that? That provision. So it is a challenge when those facilities are not there. Now, do we have internet facilities to teach? In the course of teaching, people teach in the Zoom. People teach using WhatsApp. People teach, using other means. But some teachers cannot even afford the phone of 200,000 that is sophisticated, because their salary it can just be 40,000. If you double it, you know what 200,000 divided by 40 should be giving you. I'm not a good mathematician anyway, but it should be giving you around 5 months' salary or 6 months' salary. But the teacher has a family. Where would they get it from? So it is a challenge because they will not have all the needed facilities. And the government is not ready. Because the government, their children are in private schools and overseas to study. So the society now becomes, a place to loot, and then they go.
Oh, Martins,
so
you were going to say...
You're welcome.
Martins, you were going to say something on cultism.
On cultism?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I caught your thought process short when I had said something earlier. You highlighted something on cultism.
Yes. All right. I think that area should be left to the security experts. But
okay.
The little I could say about that is number one, cultism has penetrated into some schools, either directly or indirectly. The children are having connection with their cult friends outside, if it is a school that does not allow the operation of cultism. But if it is in a public school that is so porous and there is no security, the activities are made manifest. In your state there, I learned of a school recently where some students did one or two things. Although the government now took the action, they took a proactive action immediately. But what if that had escalated? A student of another school still there in Enugu, where a child brought a knife to the school. The school took a proactive step by expelling that child. Now, what if that other victim was stabbed? That would have amounted to something. So I think the government, the school management, the authorities concerned should look into that direction. Let them improve on intelligence harnessing or intelligence information gathering so that they can work on that. That's the much I can say on that. Not that I don't know more, but I'm not in the position to address that.
Okay, that's fine. Let's look at technology. It's the new norm currently. So many things are being advanced through the use of technology. So how can technology, enhance the quality of training that teachers receive and give as well?
Beautiful, whole lot of ways. With the introduction of artificial intelligence now, teaching has been made very, very easy and interesting. Just give it a command, it will do. For example, if you want, that's what we call lesson note and lesson plan. If you want to write your lesson plan is the blueprint, a guideline with which a teacher now teaches. So if you just want the AI to write it for you, just set it, give it the information it will do or what it will do, and it will produce it and give to you. Then you, the human being, the teacher, will now go through it. If you wish to add your own, you add. All right? So that is number one. Number two, there is an app now that has come that once you now want it, it will set all questions for you. You don't need to set questions yourself. For example, that's what they call Edu Editor. That app now can set questions for you. You can use it to teach. That is technology. That is what we call pseudo-write. It can help you.
Martins, can you hear me?
Books that we can use to access materials online. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All these are materials that technology has brought to bear. Now, if you want to project your teaching material, I'm talking of the lesson notes, you can employ the service. You can go online, get the pictures, because you have to make your teaching picturesque and interesting. You get enough audio, and it will create like what they do in video editing. You see the child playing that. Now, respond. So you see, easy, or probably it is now easier than before. However, the challenge is that do we have internet? Like you saw the way Nigeria is, it is not all the parts of the country that. Then water of electricity is also a problem. Government knows what to do. Instead of even helping the poor or the masses, they now increase the electricity tariff, and it's a challenge. But assuming the government were there for the masses, I could have told you that technology has made things very. Nigeria can even challenge Japan in the next 10 years. You understand? So the idea lies holistically on government. Why do I always call government? Because the government is the one that formulates policies. The government can provide, the government can stipulate, the government can discipline whoever does otherwise. But then we believe that things will get better. So technology in the classroom, applying it can also make you to produce whatever material you do, even in supervision. When we talk of CCTV, we monitor students' activities, we monitor the way teachers do, and in the real time. We still monitor them. We use server to dish out all the information and control whatever they are doing in the real time. All of these things are made possible with the advent of technology. So imbibing it or employing the technological tools in our day-to-day teaching engagement will make teaching not only easier for teachers, but more interesting and concrete to learners.
Okay, Martins, with all this being said, I would say that a teacher is both a learner and a trainer in the education system, right?
As always, yes.
Okay, so playing this dual role, what role should a teacher as both a trainer and a learner in the education system, put out there every single time, knowing that you're playing dual roles at this time?
See. It's not that a teacher is a learner. A teacher should have learned ahead of the learner. A teacher should have been more resourceful, well equipped ahead of time. You can imagine if your father is coming to talk on the culture of your people and you are the one telling him what to do. Does that represent somebody who is already aged enough to tell you what you needed to know? The answer is no. So a teacher should have known all this. That is why a teacher in the 21st century is a facilitator. He is a guide. That was the word I used. And a counselor. He advises empathically. So you are not just an ordinary learner. You are an informed learner. You are a professional guardian. You are a professional counselor. You are a philosopher, because you should be able to solve problems. So a teacher is not just an ordinary learner. It is a sophisticated guardian.
Okay.
And then he is or she is able to guide others through successfully with a view to achieving the potentials inherent in the learner.
All right then, Martins, thank you so much for your input on this particular subject matter.
You're welcome.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.